Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Okay, and in this video now, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the new Tekken series on Netflix. So yeah, so so the series is titled Tekken Bloodline. So if you know me, you do know that I really do love the Tekken game series. The Tekken series is really like my favorite video game series of all time. So yeah, and yeah, when the trailer for this series was released, I watched it, and and when I saw it, I was really looking forward to it. Yeah, and yeah, and they've done there's been three different film adaptations of Tekken that have been uh made over the like yeah, there's been three versions of Now, there's been three different Tekken films that have been made so far. And they really have not really turned out very good. Like, there was the anime film Tekken the Motion Picture, which there was some cool stuff about it, but it was it was really short and really there was nothing about it that really did really stand out. There was that CG animated film Tekken Blood Vengeance, which it did actually look it did look like the game with the CG animation. But yeah, there was once again nothing about it that really did stand out. Plus, it really just took a long time to really get to any actual action. Like most of that was really just focusing on Xiao Yu and Elisa, and it was just pretty boring. Like when got to the end, when we saw Kazuya Jin Heihachi, that was pretty cool, but it just took so long to get to that stuff. And then there was also, of course, the live action Tekken film, which really was not good at all. Just seriously, it barely even resembled the game at all. So yeah, the live action film really was not good. So yeah, so since the three film adaptations really were not very good, I really was keeping that in the back of my mind and really was just really kind of wondering if how this really was going to turn out. Like, was it going to be any better than those three films, or could it possibly be an improvement? So yeah, so I was looking forward to this, but at the same time, I was kind of nervous about how it was going to turn out. Yeah, the trailers really did make it seem cool, but yeah, the trailers really did kind of make the movies seem cool too, and they really weren't. So yeah, so the trailers, I was thinking, might be misleading. But yeah, I did give the series a watch, and I gotta say, I actually did enjoy this series. I actually did think that this was pretty good. Yeah, so so this series really is really it follows the story of the third Tekken game. So yeah, so it really is based on the Tekken 3 story. Yeah. I guess the reason that they decided to follow the Tekken 3 story with this series is because Tekken 3 is considered by a lot of people to really be the best game in the series. And yeah, and I think and so I'm guessing that since the third game is really so popular amongst the fans, they decided to make the series like uh, follow the story of the third game. Yeah, and I do think that they did a pretty good job of telling the story in the series. Yeah. So yeah, so this really was just a 6 episode series. It wasn't an entire full season. They really did make this kind of into a mini series. And throughout the 6 episodes, they really do tell the story that the third game did. Yeah, if you do know the story of Tekken 3, then yeah, this series pretty much does have everything that really is notable about the story of the third Tekken game. So yeah, so I really do think that they did a pretty good job with this series of really telling the story of the third Tekken game. It really does like follow the story pretty good. Like I said, it really does really have like everything that is notable about Tekken 3. So yeah, so of course, like since this is based on Tekken 3, like the story focuses on Jin. Yeah, Kazuya is not like actually like really in this series. Like Kazuya really is not a main character in this series, and he really doesn't appear at all. The only time that Kazuya actually does appear in this series is through like a flashbacks of like the events of the first two games. So Kazuya is like not in the series. The series is set around Jin. Yeah. And yeah, and like I said, it really does follow the events of Tekken 3 pretty well. Like, as the series starts off, it does show how Jin is a teenager that is like, he's like with his mother June. Yeah. And June is like a training Jin to fight, but she really is like training him like very differently than how like the Mishima style fighting is. Yeah, she really is like trying to train him Kazama style. And also she's like shows that she's like really trying to teach him like a really like not to like let his anger overtake him and not really to instigate fights with anyone. Yeah. So June is really like trying to really bring Jen up like to just be like a normal person and not like the evil Mishima like Heihachi and Kazuya are. You know? Yeah, but then of course, then eventually, then Ogre then does appear, and Jin and June try to fight Ogre off. But then of course, like if you know Tekken 3, you know that Ogre does end up killing June. Yeah, and then June instructed Jin to really like seek out Heihachi. Yeah, so after June dies, then of course Jin does go to see Heihachi, and then then Heihachi then starts to train Jin to fight Mishima style. Yeah, and of course if you know this Heihachi really does fight like very dirty, and he's very powerful, so he really just like beats the hell out of Jin and throughout it. Yeah, and then like in the series, like Heihachi does train Jin, of course, and then eventually it does like lead to him like Heihachi like sponsoring the the third King of Iron Fist tournament. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, and as Heihachi is like training Jin, Jin really does start to ask about his father, but Heihachi doesn't really give Jin any answers to it at first. Jin's like what, yeah, Jin really doesn't know anything about Kazuya, like wanting to know what happened to him, but Heihachi like didn't give Jin any answers to it. Yeah, so it really left Jin to just really speculate and wonder what really did happen to his father. Yeah, and in this series, it does show like some other of the notable Tekken characters that are in this series. Like, it does have characters like Nina, Paul, Xiao Yu, Horang. There's Law, there's King, and there's like some other characters in there as well. Yoshimitsu, uh, Anna, and yeah, just the a lot of the notable characters that were in Tekken 3. But what I found kind of odd is that there were a couple of characters that were not in Tekken 3 that were shown in this series. Like it had a couple of characters from Tekken 4, such as Marduk and Steve Fox. Like it showed them that they were part of the tournament in this show as well. So I found it kind of strange that they did that. And also like it didn't like actually feature like absolutely every character that was in Tekken 3. Like Eddie wasn't in this show, and it didn't have Brian Fury. There was no Panda. There was no Gun. Yeah. So it didn't feature like absolutely everybody from Tekken 3 in the tournament in this show, but yeah, it did feature like a good amount of them. Yeah. And then Like as Jin was like really like wanting to talk to like some of them to really see like if they really did know anything about Kazuya. Like he was like trying to ask people like Nina, Paul, and a couple others. Yeah, Nina really was not like giving Jin any answers either. Just really saying that like the less spoken about the Mishimas, the better. But yeah, and Paul really did like mention how like when in the first tournament he like almost beat Kazuya but failed. Yeah, and yeah, then Jin eventually did like learn how Kazuya was like of course, like presumed to be killed after the second tournament, and like had like these flashbacks of like Kazuya defeating Heihachi in the first tournament, and Heihachi coming back and defeating Kazuya in the second tournament, and then like of course like seemingly killing Kazuya when he threw Kazuya into the volcano, but of course like it was like later on revealed in Tekken 4 that that wasn't the case and Kazuya survived it. Yeah, but of course like with this following the events of the third game, Kazuya was of course presumed dead here. Yeah, and yeah, then it showed like how like throughout the turn, like how Jin was like defeating like some other characters throughout the tournament. Like he defeated yeah, Jin defeated Leroy Smith in his first fight. Yeah, and yeah, then it showed like in like the first fights how like who won each match. And what I didn't like was that it showed like people like Law and Yoshimitsu losing into like Anna and Xiao Yu. Like what? Like why would you do that? Like Yoshimitsu and Law are like two of the most popular Tekken characters. So why are you having them lose in the first fight? So yeah, I didn't understand like why they did that. Yeah, yeah, and it showed like how King defeated Marduk, like too. Yeah, and yeah, then of course like we had like the confrontation with Jin and Horang. Jin and Horang fought in this series too. Yeah, and yeah, of course, like if you do know like Tekken, you know that like there was like some animosity between Jin and Horang, yeah, and they fought here, and yeah, then Jin then eventually did defeat Horang, yeah, and it showed how like Xiao Yu and Horang were like aligned with Jin. They eventually like aligned with Jin in the series, yeah, and even like Paul did like sort of like have an alignment with them as well, yeah. Yeah. Then in this series there was also like some like background on King. Like in this show they like say that how like the king competing in this tournament is a different king than the one before. They say like how the previous king was actually killed by Ogre as well. Yeah. So yeah, so yeah, and then like Jin then like just like learn how like Ogre is like a demon that is actually like summoned. And yeah, yeah. Then Jin then eventually did also like learn that how uh apparently Heihachi was like controlling Ogre somehow, and Heihachi was the one that was responsible for June's death. So yeah. So then after that, then like Jin then like started to like have some animosity towards Heihachi. Yeah. Then yeah. Then eventually then Jin then made it to the final match against King, which Jin won. Yeah. And then when Jin like seemed to be declared the King of Iron Fist champion, like Heihachi then like said that like for Jin to really be like the true champion of the tournament, he has to defeat Heihachi. So yeah, so then we had of course the fight between Heihachi and Jin, and yeah, and at first like Heihachi was like very like gaining the upper hand on Jin, but then eventually Jin battled back, and then before like Jin could finish Heihachi off. Then Ogre then appeared, and then, like in the game, Jin finally then just like it just triggered him. Then yeah, then Jin then had the fight with Ogre, and then yeah, then like Ogre of course was like overpowering Jin, but then eventually Jin like start to fight back and then seemingly defeat Ogre. But yeah, once Ogre was down, then Ogre then of course morphed into True Ogre. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, then we had the fight with Jin and True Ogre. Yeah, and then yeah, as a True Ogre was like a more dominant over Jin. Then like Horang, Xiao Yu, and Paul then like intervened to try to help Jin. Yeah, then eventually Jin was able to defeat True Ogre. Then after defeating a True Ogre, then and like it then ended up like activating the Devil Gene inside Jin. Yeah, then of course like Heihachi like wanting to like really like wanting to like destroy the Devil Gene. Heihachi then like attempted to kill Jin by shooting him, but then then Jin then like ended up like awakening and like fully transforming into a devil, and then ended up like brutally attacking Heihachi, and then flying off from the area into the moon. Yeah, and then and that's how the series ended. So yeah, so it basically, like I said, it really does like follow the events of the third game, because that really was the story with like Ogre like destroying Jun when Jin is really young. Jin goes to Heihachi trains Jin, and then then Jin wins the tournament. Heihachi turns on Jin, and then then and Ogre then arrives, and then Jin defeats Ogre. Then as Heihachi tries to kill Jin, Jin then transforms into a devil, and then attacks Heihachi, and then just leaves, flies off. So yeah, so I really do think that this really did do a pretty good job of really following the story of Tekken 3. So yeah, so this really did like seem to be like a much more faithful adaptation of Tekken than any of the three movies were. I mean, the motion picture anime did really follow the events. It did have the story of the first game, but yeah, it really didn't do much to actually really follow the first game. Yeah, and the other two really just really had nothing at all in common with the games, especially the live action one. Like it really just really did have like a totally different story, and really just like absolutely no similarities with the game other than like the characters having the same names, and that was really it. So yeah, so this one really was is like much more faithful to the game than the three films were. So yeah, so I really do think that like this is really like the definitive like media adaptation of Tekken now. And so yeah, if you really are looking to watch like an adaptation of Tekken that really is like more faithful and better done one of the games, then yeah, I think this is really the version to stick with. I really do think that this is really the version and to check out. So yeah, so so I really do think that this really did do a better job than the three films did. So yeah, so I really did enjoy this series, and I really do think that it really did do a good job of really following the events of the third game. So yeah, so I guess just me being like a die-hard Tekken fan, that probably really does like give me like more enjoyment of it than just people that really just like any like normal person would. But yeah, for people like me that really do love the game series, I really did enjoy the series, and I would say that I do give the series a thumbs up. I do think it was a pretty good adaptation. So yeah, so if you're a fan of Tekken, especially Tekken 3, then I do recommend checking this series out, because yeah, it really does do a pretty good job of following the story. So yeah, so overall, I give the series a pass. Yeah. So yeah, and what I'm wondering now is like, could this series like end up getting a second season, or will there even be like a sequel series to this one, like following the events of Tekken 4? Because I do think that it would be interesting to do like another series like this, centered around the story of Tekken 4, with like the revelation of Kazuya's survival and him returning, and like all the stuff between Kazuya, Heihachi, and Jin in that one. So yeah, so I think that it would be like cool to really see another series like this following Tekken 4. So I don't know if they are going to do that or not. I guess only time will tell. But yeah, that is something I would like to see done. Yeah. But yeah, well, my verdict on this one, like I said, I do think that it is the best media adaptation of Tekken so far. And if you're a fan of Tekken, then give it a watch, especially if you like Tekken 3. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So I guess that's my verdict on it. So yeah. So I guess that's all I really have to say about it. All right. So those are my thoughts on Tekken Bloodline. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Yeah. And yeah. And for my next video, tomorrow night, uh, there's Saturday night's main event that'll be here in Phoenix, which I will be going to. So yeah. So for my next video, which will probably be sometime on Sunday, I'll make a video to give my thoughts on the Saturday night's main event show that I'll be attending tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that coming up next. All right. But yeah, but I hope you guys did enjoy this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.